Hello, my name is Anna. I also go by Arnie, and this is gonna be another sketchbook tour. Last video I posted just the very end of 2025. I think I posted it on like New Year's Eve, and now it's June. Now it's June. It's been just over 5 months. I did finish a sketchbook in January, and I would try and like give you excuses and defend myself, but I don't need to. Because we all just know that like January happens and then February happens and then March and then April and then May and now it's June. So here is another sketchbook tour from yours truly. All right, so this is the sketchbook that I completed in January, and I've got some stickers on the front and the back, and I'm going to tell you who made the stickers. So we've got Paloma the Peach. No, this one's not. These three are Paloma the Peach, and I got these from her mail subscription. I love getting mail from her. I think that she every month is coming out with a really cohesive and thought through collection. Like they always all go together and they're always all fun, and I could talk about her for a long time, and I think I tried to in my last video too. So moving on, we've got Kristen Vardanega, or Little Tiny Egg, and then I've got a sticker from a band called Howdy, but instead of a W it's two V's. Pretty good music. I saw them in concert. And then this is Aki. This is the sticker from the cafe that I frequent. And then on the back side, we've got stickers from the same people. These two are Paloma the Peach, and this is Kristen Vardanega, or Little Tiny Egg. And then this is a sticker that I made myself. So moving on to the inside of the sketchbook, or I guess some people like to say what kind of sketchbook theirs is. This is a Stillman and Byrne Zeta series sketchbook, different from my last sketchbook. This one was a Strathmore mixed media sketchbook with a soft cover. I think this one has fewer pages. This one also has a different texture of pages. These feel a little bit smoother as well as thicker. They're thicker and a little smoother, and I think there's less pages in the book. So maybe why I finished this sketchbook so quickly. It only took me like just under two months, or just over 2 months to finish. Whereas this sketchbook took me a bit longer, but I was also still figuring out kind of my routine with sketchbooking. So Zeta series, Stillman and Byrne, I would recommend it. I think it's a good sketchbook, but if you're someone who really cares about the texture of your paper, I would go in person and feel around if you can. I know sometimes they like vacuum seal sketchbooks in like plastic wrap, and you can't necessarily like open it up and sniff the pages and feel them around, but if you can and you're picky, I would recommend it. I got this from the Blick Art Store, because I actually went back to the Blick Art Store after finishing my first sketchbook, and I was like, I want the same sketchbook, and they were like, oh, too bad, we don't sell that anymore. I was actually like jaw on the floor, like, are you serious? Like, it's a mixed media Strathmore. Like, that sounds like the most basic sketchbook I've ever heard of, but whatever. So that's my sketchbook. Similar to the other sketchbook tour, I always start with a context page and I write my name in it, and I try and have some sort of fun way to have the context of my life. And I think in my last video I talked about like my sketchbook isn't something I do for money or as a profession. Like, it's something I do for fun, and so it's very reflective of my life and my interests, so I think it's a good idea to have like the context of my life in a sketchbook. Now, in my last sketchbook tour, if you haven't watched it, the context in this one was like, okay, so I lose my job, and then I decide to move back home, and then I start a new job, and then like I'm all over the place. Life was so crazy in my first sketchbook, and this sketchbook starts in one spot and ends in another. Like, it's, I don't know, like when I look at that sketchbook, I'm like, wow, I'm watching myself grow by flipping through these pages, because just so much was happening in my life. Now in this sketchbook, I started it in like mid-November and then finished it in the end of January. And so like, other than like Thanksgiving and Christmas happening, like almost literally nothing personally happened in my life. So there's like no other context in here other than I started the sketchbook. I'm halfway through the sketchbook. I finished the sketchbook. Which is, I'm okay with that. I'm okay when nothing happens. Like, we don't need the context to be crazy. It's okay if it, especially for a 2-month span, nothing needs to happen in 2 months. And I have this envelope with, looks like I've got some stickers and zines in here. Oh, I've got all kinds of things in here. I like to, and this is, Matisse, get out of here, man. Matisse. Oh my God. So I like to have an envelope in my sketchbook. I'm covered in cat hair. Oh my goodness. Not a good start, guys. Sorry. I like to have an envelope in here just to, like, if I wanted to junk journal or like collage, or if I have stickers I haven't figured out how to use yet, or a print from one of the subscription, like the Patreon mail club subscriptions I have, then I could keep it in here. And I guess there are some things in here I didn't realize I had. Like, I didn't realize I had a whole unused sticker set. So I'm actually going to put that aside because I'm going to use that on my next sketchbook. That's from Paloma the Peach, by the way. Love her. Looks like I've got 2 zines here about Littlest Pet Shop and Club Penguin. Can you tell I'm nostalgic and born in the early 2000s? Because this is very telling. This is a bookmark from my partner. He has, like, bookmarks that he collects from the inside of library books, I think. Like, he'll get a library book and there will be someone else's bookmark in it, and then he'll just use it. And then, like, I guess I kept that one. Not interesting, but I think it's fun, so I kept it. Then it looks like I have some garbage, some stickers that I made, and I'll just shove all this minus the unused stickers back into my junk envelope. So, first page, very uninteresting. We've got a page spread of just, looks like botanicals, oranges, flowers, strawberries, squiggles. And I was just testing out new paint pens and new markers that I'd gotten, because at the same time that I went to the Blick art store and was fed disappointment because they didn't have the sketchbook I wanted, I also got new markers. I got Tombow brush pens and some acrylic kind of poster pens, like really thick ones. And I was testing those out. Very fun and cool. Then it looks like I was testing out the Tombow pens, but rarely do I ever like have a page of like just testing that isn't like ornamental or pretty. Like, this page was testing for me, but you can tell I was trying to be like artful about it and like have it kind of make sense as like a composition, versus like in the background of this, behind all of the actual picture, it's just a bunch of squiggles from testing out the different colors of Tombow. And then you can see that I covered that up because I didn't want the squiggles. So I've got some cats and a rainbow, and then I think I ended up closing the sketchbook, and when I opened it again, some of like the cloud had gotten on this page, and I was kind of upset about that, but I just drew around it anyway and did this sort of quick ornamental folk artsy tulip or flower. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I've seen that many flowers that are actually shaped like this or have leaves that are like that bulbous. Like, that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of alien the more I think about it, but whatever. Then it looks like this page, I've got a portrait of my friend Anna. She had come over around this time, and I took a picture of her sitting next to my cat, and then I drew the picture. Because that's what you do when you've got friends and a cat, you draw them. So next page, I was testing out, looks like my Tombow pens, and I took inspiration from a Pinterest picture and did this sort of landscape where the sun is hitting snow really aggressively, and so the shadows and the light are like super saturated and bright. And I like it enough, but I don't love, like, I'm not attached to this. If I happened to spill water on this page, I wouldn't have been upset. But it's nice enough. Meh. This I actually did before I started the sketchbook. This is actually on like a page of sticker paper. So like, I don't know why I did it on sticker paper. Like, I could have used regular printer paper, but I was in between sketchbooks and I didn't have a place to draw. So I went to the coffee shop, and I had brought like sticker paper with me. And this is one of the compositions that I made on the sticker paper. And I just stuck it in here because I wanted to keep it. So very cool. Oh, looks like this is over Thanksgiving. This would have been while I was on vacation and like hanging around family. And so this was probably in like some downtime between playing games and eating and cooking. And I just drew my cats. So just kind of fun. Nothing too crazy or too super detailed, just cats. And then some spring motifs because my orange cat Matisse loves the cat springs. Then we've got this page where it looks like I took my paint marker. Oh, and what I did was I would color on it and then I would smash the book closed and totally just like crush it and like stand on it and then reopen it up and peel the pages apart and see what would happen. Looking at this now as like a finished page spread, I kind of hate it, but I do appreciate experimenting and just seeing what happens and not taking anything too seriously. So yeah, I had a good time doing this one. I think it turned out good. I like it. Then we have this page, and it looks like on this one I copied a cat picture from Pinterest, and then I included a print from Paloma the Peach. This is one of her risograph prints from her mail club, and I like that this came in the mail right at the time that I was drawing this, and so I liked that they were kind of in conversation. Then we have a neon page with some neon paint. I started with doing the neon paint and then I did lines over it with like a thin Sharpie. I think this is fun. I think it's cool. This side I messed up on. I think I was drawing this lady first, and I was like starting from the top and then going down, but I started too big, and so I realized probably like right here that proportionally she was not going to fit, and so rather than doing what a normal person would do and just having her legs be cut off, I was like, no, I'll fit, she'll fit. And so I drew her not proportionally, and she looks a little funny, but that's okay. It's just a sketchbook. Then we have an alphabet, and something I like to do is find a font that I like and then look at it as if it has a set of rules that it follows. So like, does it have a serif? Yes or no. If it has a serif, which is like the fancy little tail thing on letters, it's like, if it has one, is it rounded? Is it bulbous? Is it super thin? Is it pointy? Is it rigid? I don't know. And then like anytime a letter has a hole in it, like the A or the B, what does the hole look like? Does it lean more to one side? And so I find what those rules are with a font, and I copy them kind of in my own way, or I skew the font towards a certain style or change one of the rules. But I like doing that. I think it's a nice way to fill a page and get better at doing hand lettering. Then we have some more nostalgia with Club Penguin. I did some Club Penguin in my last sketchbook too. I used to play Club Penguin like all day, every day. Then we have some paint scraping. Normally I would try and like cover this up or paint over it, but I really liked some of the sort of shapes and goo that were happening right here, so I left it. Then this is a page that I decided to make like a warm-up page, and I gridded it off into boxes on this side and then just lines on this side, and I focused on thinking about it like patches on a quilt. So like, what kind of pattern would it have just in this 1-inch square? And so every time I opened my sketchbook, I would go back to this page if I didn't have any ideas right away, and I would try and fill in a couple of squares just to get like a warm-up in. And then this page, very similar, but just lines instead of squares. And you can see I started out really focused and I put a lot of effort into the first two, and then it kind of drops off on the third one, and then the final three it looks like I did really, really fast, which is fine. It's just a sketchbook, but worth noting that my motivation there kind of dropped off. On this page, it looks like I was getting ready. There was a trivia weekend that my partner and I go to with one of my, he's my former boss from an ice cream shop that I worked at. He invited us to be a part of his trivia team, and this trivia competition happens every year, and it's like 50 hours of like radio trivia, and you're supposed to like you have to look up stuff on the internet, like you have to cheat, and that's expected, and it's like the most wild wild thing ever. And it was going to be Western themed this year, so I was getting amped up, ready for that. And I really like this page. And this is kind of my centerfold page, so when I open up the sketchbook and it opens to a random page, this is what I open up to, which is, it's nice. I like it. And I took inspiration for different parts of this on Pinterest, but ultimately put together the composition myself. Then we have some pansies, as well as another Riso print from Paloma the Peach, and then some colored pencil sketches. These are also copied from Pinterest. Flowers are nice, has a nice border, just kind of whatever though. Not my favorite thing, probably won't ever really revisit this picture. I do, however, like the animals over here. I think they're cute. People ask me like what my favorite medium is, and for the longest time I didn't have an answer, but I did tell people I hated colored pencils. And I think the reasoning for that was because anytime you try and do anything that is like more complicated than this with colored pencils, like it gets super hard really fast. But if you keep it simple and like light and not complicated, then it's like anything goes. Like, looks like scribbles? No, that's perfect. It's perfect. But I think like literally the next page, yeah. I have a colored pencil drawing where I was trying to get more texture and more depth and more shadow and more like colored shading, and it just wasn't working out for me. Like, this looks fine, but it wasn't what I wanted it to look like, and I was having issues with that. So colored pencil is not my favorite for that reason. This page, it does look like I was trying to use some like figure study and like do a little bit more work on like proportion and trying to follow references. It does look like I left myself a note. I'm actually not terrible at drawing, it says. I just need to use references and have a clear image in my head for what I intend to draw. When I don't have a reference, I lack clarity and detail. Apparently I need that reminder quite often, because I will get into a really like enthusiastic mood about drawing, and then I'll like open up my sketchbook and not use a reference, and like then make something that is only like halfway decent, and then be disappointed that it's only halfway decent when I didn't use a reference image or like have that clear image in my head. So just a good reminder for me to use a reference image if I want it to look good. This is an example of maybe where I should have had a clear image in my head or used a reference image. I started out this page with just drawing like different shapes with this big thick purple marker, and then I filled it in with patterns, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna draw something over the top. And I ended up doing this like super scary cloud, and this is not indicative of like what I make or what kind of style I do or what I'm into as an artist, and it turned out really scary, and I was going to cover it up, but my partner was like, no, it's kind of cute, you should keep it. Aw. Now I can't delete it or cover it up because he said he liked it. So there it is. There she is. These are some fish that I copied from Pinterest, and I think I talked about this a little bit in my last video. I think it's okay to copy things off of Pinterest for your own enjoyment, as long as you are not going to claim it as your own art. Like if you are trying to make money or a living even off of illustration or digital art or analog art, if it's not digital, like I don't think it's right to copy things off of Pinterest at all. I think that's morally, ethically wrong. Same way as like using AI for artwork and then trying to pass it off as your own. Like that is not honest. And you're not really, like usually if someone's got a good eye, they can tell when something might be copied, especially if they frequent. Like I know people, if you frequent Pinterest, you could probably like pull up the pin that this is from, and a lot of the pins that I copy, to be honest. Like I'm not digging super far into Pinterest. I'll admit that. Like, but on the other side of that, like if you're someone like me who most of the time you are sketching and drawing and making art for your own enjoyment, your own happiness, you don't need to come up with brand new fresh ideas every time you open your sketchbook. And by all means, just go for whatever you want to draw, find that reference image, and go for it. Like if the difference between you making art and you not making art is you telling yourself you're not allowed to copy from Pinterest, then just copy from Pinterest. Like get into a groove. It's okay to copy from Pinterest, but then once you if you want to start making money off of it, if you want to start like calling stuff your own and posting about it and trying to like promote yourself, that's when your artwork needs to be from your own head, and you can't use other people's art to boost that, if that makes sense. It was at Pride last summer. I found a booth and I was super excited because I liked all the stuff she was making. I liked her style. And I found this illustration that I liked, and it was like in the colors that I was decorating with at the time, and I actually have it right here because I never unwrapped it. But it's this cat, and I was like, that is so cute. And then like I started looking on Pinterest for like inspiration, and then I found, like, I'm certain the exact reference image that she used for it. And granted, this isn't the same as the reference image, but I was a bit disappointed to find out that her reference image like did in fact come right off of Pinterest. I still like it and I still might hang it up, but I don't know, it kind of ruined it for me. I wanted something that came out of her head, and then it wasn't. So yeah, don't sell people stuff that isn't yours. Because that's just, I don't know, it's kind of sad. Like, you have a brain, use it. Then we have something else I copied off of Pinterest. But like I said, I'm not selling it. I'm not here to tell you that I came up with the ideas. I'm here to tell you that I enjoy drawing it. And that's kind of the key difference, is like, this isn't for you. This is for me. I like drawing. So, the end. We have some more fonts that I did. Then we have some other things that I copied off of Pinterest. These are just cat drawings. I don't remember for sure if this image that I copied from had stars on it or not, but very sure might have. I like adding stars to things lately. Yeah. Then we have this image here. These are different portraits that I was working on trying to get the proportions correct. I struggle with facial proportions because I'm like, okay, I need to start in pencil. Most of the time, I don't start in pencil with anything ever because I think it's important to build confidence when you're drawing. And if you start in pencil every time and go back and erase it, like, you're just second guessing yourself the whole time, versus if you go right in with a pen, like, you don't get to go back and erase, and you just have to keep moving forward and build confidence that way. With faces and facial proportions, I have struggled with trying to do it in pen because the second I put one thing out of place, like, it doesn't look like a human face anymore, and that's really jarring. Like, for a lot of other things, like, let's say I had a flower in here. Like, if you put a petal slightly out of place, big deal, does not matter at all, like, nobody cares. But the second you start putting like an eye too far up, like, it doesn't look like a person anymore, and now it looks like something out of a horror movie. And so I second guess myself a lot when I'm drawing people. Even though these look halfway decent, I still look at them and I'm like, this is what's wrong. Like, I can't help but notice it. So this is cute. It's fine. It's just a sketchbook. Don't think too much about it. But yeah, I'm still working on my skills with drawing faces. I had an Arnold Palmer at the cafe that I like, and I drew it, and then I did like the rest of the page to kind of match, and I really like the way the letters turned out, and I like the way the colors are, and it makes me want to make like fake posters, even though I don't like have a need to do that and nobody asked. It just makes me want to. Then we have a page that I hate this page. I started drawing this page like I'm not close to done with this sketchbook yet, but like, I drew this page. This was like near the beginning of January. I didn't finish this page for like the 3 weeks after this because I hated it so much. Like, I started this idea of like, it's a tree with a lot of birds, and the idea is that you're supposed to like find one of the birds that you relate to in terms of like, you know, where is it in its bird life? Does it have a house? Is it building a nest? Does it have a family? Is it falling in love? Is it falling off the tree? Did someone ruin its life? Like, which one do you relate to? Which bird are you? And I drew it in pencil, and then I never came back to it, and I was like, girl, this is not done. You can't call this done. But I didn't want to draw it. And so like, literally the last day that I was working on this sketchbook, I sat down in a coffee shop with what I thought was going to be a really, really yummy pistachio latte. But instead of like it being a latte with like pistachio syrup, it had like the consistency of like peanut butter, but pistachio sauce, they called it, at the bottom of it, and so I stuck my straw into it, and like I tried to suck in, and then I eventually just got like a glob of like pistachio butter, and it was really salty, and I'd never had it before, and like I'm sure someone loved it. I did not. So the last day I worked on the sketchbook was a tough one because I was not having a drink that I liked. And I didn't want to finish this drawing, but God gives his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers, and clearly I'm the best soldier ever because I finished the sketchbook. This is from Little Tiny Egg, another one of her kind of monthly mail prints that I subscribe to. I did this one. I'm sure this was inspired by Pinterest somewhere, somehow. And I was drawing it, and my partner Nick was like, "You are so funny. That's such a meme right now." And I'm like, "What?" Because I'm not really on social media a ton, or like go online that much ever, because I'm always doing something else with my time. But apparently this is like this emoji, the emoji that looks like this is used a lot to be like sarcastically dramatic, I guess. Maybe. I don't even know if I remember correctly, but I did this page, and then I was like, hey, I need to finish the page spread. So I kind of did this weird pattern on the other side with barbed wire, and it's okay enough. I don't love it, but it's not terrible. Then we have another risograph from Paloma the Peach, of just little trinkets on a keychain, and I put a nice background behind it along with some pomegranates. And I like this drawing, but I think it would have been a lot cooler if I had done a different color in the background, because it just, the green is not adding a nice tone to the fruit itself, because I layered the paint pens on top of the green, and like depending on the lighting you look at it, it just kind of looks a little bit gross, almost just a little bit. Like it's only so subtle and it doesn't really matter, but I wish that I used a different color, so next time I will. I've made a lot of friends at a queer art event that my town has about once a month, and I want to say, like, I've made a dozen friends, like, through this event and through the people at this event, and not just the kind of people that you see only at that one place and go like, oh, hey, good to see you. Like, I've, like, gone out to coffee and, like, had dinner with these people and, like, brought them over to my place. So we've got this page. I also did this at the art event. It's just with tempera sticks, and they're super easy to use. It's just like a glue stick full of like paint, but it's not like gooey paint. It's like the glue consistency. And it dries really quickly and it layers nicely, and it's just, I mean, they're meant for kids, but so clearly I'm not a child. So anyway, I really like it. Then we have this page that I did also with tempera sticks. And this is inspired by an artist that I found on Pinterest. Her name is Julie Chai, or Julie Chi perhaps. And she did like landscapes that I saw that had like some hot pink in them, and I thought that was a really nice color to add in there. And so yeah, then we have our last page of the sketchbook, which again I did with tempera sticks for the background. And I really love this page. I really think that there's something to be said about like this sort of mantra of like the time will pass anyway. I've heard people say it with like kind of toxic like weight loss advice, and I don't really lean in that direction of like the time will pass anyway. If you starve yourself now, you'll be happier later. Like, ugh, garbage. Don't say that. But like in terms of like the time will pass anyway, I'm leaning more towards like, hey, like, do you want to work more on getting better at drawing, or do you want to sit on the couch and scroll on your phone? Like, do you want to soak up the sun while it's warm outside, or do you want to wait until winter and wish that you had? Like, the time is going to pass anyway. You're spending it somehow. How are you spending it? So just in the sense of like being mindful about like how you're spending your time. And I think it's like, it's more true now than ever, and people are becoming more aware of it, of like how much time you really spend on your phone or like on the computer or at work and doing things that aren't fulfilling to you, whereas like they might feel in the moment like it's a good way to spend your time, or like you might be comforting yourself by scrolling for a while, but like long term, is that going to contribute to your long-term happiness, or is it just like a, I don't know, like a quick pick me up? So yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I think that was a nice thing to get kind of on the last page, because it's like the time is going to pass anyway. Are you going to finish your sketchbook? But yeah, I was really proud of myself for finishing the sketchbook. I think I kind of had a false sense of pride with it, because like you can see how many pages this is. Like this, I don't know if this is like 48 pages or if it's 24 pages with 48 pages, if that makes sense. Like it's not that much paper, it's just very thick paper. But that made for finishing a sketchbook really quickly and kind of feeding off the success of like finishing a sketchbook. At the same time that I bought this sketchbook, I also bought my next sketchbook. And this one is a totally different story. And I've been working on this next sketchbook for, I want to say, I mean, it's since the end of January this year. So it's been about, 4 or 5 months now of me working on this sketchbook. And this sketchbook is the Art Creations sketchbook. I don't know. It's a big one. Like, it's certainly taller than the sketchbook that I'm showing you in this video. It's not really that much wider though. But you can see it's got about 1 million more pages. Like it's certainly taken me a while to fill up, and I've been doing art, I want to say, just about at the same rate, if not more often. And so having a new sketchbook that has more pages, thinner pages, and kind of off-white pages too. I'm not a fan of the color of these pages. Like, to me, it's like, I don't know, like there's something that makes me feel like my artwork has like a faded or like dingy kind of feel to it. And like for some styles, I'm sure that off-white paper contributes very nicely, but I'm kind of all about like fresh, bright colors. And so I didn't really think about that when I was getting this new sketchbook. But hopefully soon I will finish this sketchbook. I want to say I have like 10 more page spreads to do before it's done. And if I'm working at any rate similar to I have been, it'll be done in no time. Thank you for watching my sketchbook tour video. It's certainly been fun to kind of review my artwork now that it's been a couple months since I finished it. Let me know if there's any videos you'd like for me to create. I've been thinking of doing a video that talks about what art supplies I bring with me when I go sketchbooking out in the world. We're at like a coffee shop or something, and kind of what my other art routine looks like, so that I'm able to do art on a regular basis for my enjoyment. Like I said, it's not for a job, it's not for really anyone but myself, and I just like to kind of document the process of creating for the purpose of enjoyment, because I think a lot of the content out there that we do see is very like monetary focused or like product focused, or I don't know, like we usually see YouTubers who are like documenting their career as an artist, of like, I'm packing orders, or like design a sticker with me, and like that's great. I love that. I consume that content a lot. But I think it sort of drives the divide between like, oh, well, I'm not creating artwork for like stickers or for my job. Like, I'm not doing it because it's my career. So I don't know, where's my spot? So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Very cool, good stuff.